couldn't get my mic on. Welcome.
Welcome to the new spot. How nice is this?
Woohoo.
Yeah. We are in our, what should we call this? We're in our Table Talk Tea Time studio.
Yeah, that's a good name for it.
Yeah. It's high tech.
I love it.
So, so we are in our new little spot. Why are we in a new spot, Alicia Lambert?
Because as of Sunday, we open up the gathering space again.
Yeah. So
exciting.
if you're local, you have been coming in the side door for worship. We've been coming in and coming out that side door, and pandemic team was like, you know what? We can relax a little bit. So starting this Sunday, we are using the main doors.
Yep. And so
coming right through the front.
We'll have the one main door open though. Right?
Yeah, not all the main doors.
Right. So we'll have one main door open because we still have to check you in and do all of that.
We're still doing the contact tracing. Yep.
So Rachel will be standing at the welcome station, getting your name, checking you in, giving you your communion cup, and then you'll head into sanctuary.
Yeah, just walk right on in, and that you are going to this is what you do if you've not been on campus through the gathering space for a while or ever. Make sure as you're coming in, look up because you're going to see a sign. What does that sign say? It's your sign.
I know.
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri doesn't know either. Thanks.
All are welcome. Something.
That's the one.
I don't know I didn't know the exact wording. I knew it was all about.
It's all
everyone.
are welcome here.
Okay.
All are welcome here, and we really try to live by that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's super easy, like if you're a family with the cutest kids in the world, we're like, oh, but some of us get a little grouchy, and some of us don't always act right, and yet we really try to stick by that whole like, yeah, man, but all are welcome here. So it takes all of us. I'm excited about that, but it's also why we're connecting online because we don't just mean all are welcome at this location. Some of you are not going to be with us on Sunday in person.
Come visit.
You live far away. Yeah.
Take a vacation. Come visit us.
We are a vacation destination.
Yeah.
We got the Cape. We've got Long Doggers. We've got all kinds of things here.
At the beach.
The beach, yeah. Also Long Doggers at the beach.
We have Disney.
So, yeah, but Long Doggers is a local hot dog place. So
if you don't know what that is, it's really good food.
It's really good
it's
food.
a local place. Yes. Anyways.
Right. So, and it also, it's partly why I think I've really been connecting to the themes that we've been doing for our Sunday worship services, because they really have to do with that sense of the effort God goes to welcome the people, to really be the God of the people, not some God who interacts at some impossible distance, but a God located right in the middle of everybody, and it is difficult. It is difficult, and I'm excited about the story and how the story is progressing. But I got to tell you, this Sunday I'm not so excited about. This is one of the really hard parts of the story for me, if you it's just one of the hard parts of the story because you really see how crummy people are, like how crummy we are, and how even with just a little bit of disappointment or frustration or lack of patience, people will turn. People will turn. And so, man, it's hard stuff to talk about. It's one thing if we're talking about a Bible story that happened thousands of years ago, but the thing is, like, these are stories that are talking about life right now. So, man, I know you guys that are out there with us right now or checking in after, you've got stories of times that someone has turned on you. You've been faithful. You've been good. God's provided for them. God has led them through treacherous circumstances, has given them a great place to be. They get impatient and they just turn. They just turn on God. And so we're going to be talking about this Sunday. I'd like for us to start talking about it here without dragging tea time down into the, like, everybody's weeping. Just leave the weeping to me.
Yes, we will.
So that's the thing. I do want to acknowledge Tab. Thank you for dropping off the candy. She left us a note.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you for doing that. Our candy stores are growing. We'll talk about that in just a second. So, but I would like to So, I guess part of it is, why is it, Alicia, Evelyn Lambert, why
That's
is
not my
it,
middle name.
why is it that people, you just can't trust them?
I don't know. I don't.
That's the question, right? Or one of the
You
questions.
didn't tell me you were going to ask me that
I
question.
don't like to tell you in advance.
I know. Then you put me on the spot.
Yeah, but we get the raw, like, let me think about it right now. Are you guys out there? Like, why is it that, it's one of my, it shows up in our movies all the time, right? Where there's a character that has brought the main character under his wing or her wing and is showing him or her the ropes or telling him the backstory, whatever it actually is. And then they're like, don't trust anybody. And you're like, he means him, or she's gonna, like, right there, right? And then the whole movie, you're like, when's it gonna happen? And it does, right? Why is it that it always happens? People will let you down.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's God's plan, obviously. I don't think God does that. I think we're humans, and humans make mistakes. I don't really have an answer to that, right? You put me on the spot with a really hard question.
Yeah.
And thinking about trusting and stuff, I think if maybe you're lucky enough to be someone that's not been let down or hurt by somebody, or I think we just build up this part of us, like a wall almost, to not trust. And that's obviously not what like God wants, but I think the human in us doesn't always choose the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And it hurts others. So we build up a wall of not trusting people.
Yeah.
I don't know that that really answers your question. I just know that I think we as humans do it to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw me getting distracted, right?
Yes.
My screen has stopped working for some reason. It is a hard question to answer, and we do it to ourselves. We set ourselves up to be betrayed. We make promises that we intend to keep, but then realize that we can't, or we just decide we won't. And it really caused a lot. It's a lot of pain. And what struck me as you were talking and you started talking about just the word trust. When you said the word trust, it just reminded me. In my daily devotions, part of it is I write out just kind of, hey, what did I hear? What did I hear? What did God say to me? And it's almost become like this little tagline where at the end of my little reflection, and we're talking like 5-7 lines, right? At the end of my little reflection, almost every day, I type out "trust God." I just keep typing that out. And what's interesting to me about that is, the God who made us and who is absolutely fully acquainted with everything that's going on in each of our hearts and minds and lives, repeatedly says, hey, trust me. Trust me. This God we constantly betray, that we make promises to that we cannot keep, is constantly saying, hey, trust me. Yeah, that's really interesting to me.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
But first I want to tell you, so Chrissy said because people fail us.
Yeah.
And George said, wow, great topic. Hard to answer, especially depending on which side of the letdown you are on.
Right. Are you the one who let down or got let down?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that this is going to keep us on track.
We'll see where we're going.
Because you're talking about this. So, God continues to say, trust him, right? And we continue to tell people, trust God, trust God. He has a plan. In hard times, why do you think we lose trust? I mean, I guess that's not really the question. The question is in hard times, how do we make sure we continue to hold on to trusting God?
Yeah.
Because, so let's just say you lose somebody, or let's go with that one. So maybe you lose somebody, and you're like, but why, right? Recently, I had a cousin of mine that got in an accident and passed away. He's 26. He's got a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I'm trying to say to people around me that we're all grieving, right? But trust God. But that's not an easy thing to always do, right? Like, and I know that sounds bad because I feel like I do trust God and He has a plan. But sometimes I struggle with, well, then why this? And is it really the people, the aspect of the people being involved? Does that make sense?
No, I mean, yeah, right on.
Like I'm
yeah, absolutely.
making big circles and talking.
Well, and my answer is going to be big circles, so it's going to be great. But it is so hard to talk about. It's hard to name grief beyond, this person, my cousin, your cousin died. Like, it's to really just dig at that, especially we cannot help ourselves. People who have decades of walking with Jesus and people who don't really think God's real end up in very similar places. Why did this happen? With answers that are hard to really sink your teeth into, as being, okay, I'm good with it. I mean, it just rarely happens that way. And so I've got like a looping answer that I hope doesn't feel like a deflection away from something really painful like grief, but it's just something fresh that just happened yesterday, right? So I had a window of time at my home before I had to come back here for Bible study, actually. And I knew that with the things that were going to happen last night and this morning, that I had to get stuff out of my backyard, right? I had a big ladder back there and some other things I've been working on a project back there. And so I'm like, so I have to get the ladder out. When Jessamine, my wife, when she comes home, she sees me tying ropes to the tree to set up a swing set for my kids. Or swing for my kids, and she's like, what are you doing? Because she knows I have to come here for Bible study. I'm like, I'm putting the ladder away. Because, I mean, I was putting the ladder away, but before, there was like all these things I needed to do with the ladder. I think part of our issue with trust in God is that we have a real simple view of what needs to be done, right? The ladder needs to go back to the garage. But God sees the whole picture, every angle on every soul, and every thought, every knee-jerk reaction, every fear. It's all there laid out plain before God. And so we might be like crying out like, God, obviously the ladder needs to move, or or whatever the thing is, right? But there's all this stuff that's connected to it that's deeper and richer and more true. So I think part of our issue with trusting God in any time, but especially in hard times, is because, we focus in on, well, this is what needs to happen, or this shouldn't have happened. It's just wrong for the young to die. It's wrong for kids to lose their dad. It's just not right. And I don't mean to suggest that God is doing these things and had to kill your cousin. Like, that's not how God works, in my view. But looking for what God is doing can become really hard because we keep looking for, well, obviously, this is what needs to happen, or this shouldn't have happened, and we just don't see all the rest of it. And I'm convinced of this, and this is why it's so key in living a trusting life, is to keep training your focus on the good that you see. Not so that you're blind to the bad, not so that you're in denial about the reality around us, but actually it opens you up to more of the reality, because you realize, like, oh my gosh, God is doing more and more and more. It's a silly little thing today. My car didn't work I was up in Vieira. My car didn't work. I had to get Kevin, who works here, to drive me up there. I had to get you to pick me up, to bring me here. And I enjoyed that time just chit-chatting in the car. I mean, we laughed. You're right. You were making fun of me and we laughed. I made you mad.
I wasn't making fun of you.
Yeah, you were. And then Kevin and I drove up to Vieira together, and it was just a great conversation. situation, you know, and did God make my car not work so that I would do that? I don't think so. But God filled that time, that inconvenience, with good things. God fills grief with good things. And I think if we train ourselves to see more and more of the good that God is doing, it helps us trust God when the obvious thing doesn't happen. Because here's how people do, right? So I get a text from Jessamine at like 10 o'clock last night, and she's like, "Why is the ladder in the yard?" I didn't actually. I got the ladder.
You never got it put away?
No, I got it over the fence from the backyard to the side yard. And she goes out there to walk our new puppy, and she's like, "Why is this big old ladder here?" It's like a 25-foot ladder.
Oh, my goodness.
So my sweet baby's like having to haul that thing into the garage. Right? So with God, the ladder gets put away, but not necessarily, or maybe not, because maybe that's not the big thing, right? But with us, like, we keep dropping stuff, we forget stuff. So as much as we trust the people we love, we also realize, because one of the things I said with Jessamine in response, I'm like, "Aren't I fun?" And you know what? She said, "Yes, you are." And she meant it.
So sweet. So George said.
So that's a big circle loop, but
yes.
That's where I hang out in some of these really hard questions. Yeah, what did George say?
George said, from experience, when you lose everything, you have two choices. Trust God, fall on your knees, or run away from God and fall on your face.
Yeah. Next time, just ask George.
I know.
That was a really good answer.
George, so
hey, George.
I'm going to need you to be here on tea time.
What are you doing, man? Why aren't you here?
No,
yeah, that's really good. What was it? You have two choices: to trust God and fall on your knees, or to run from God. Is that it? And fall on your face.
Run away from God.
Run away from God and fall on your face. But here's the thing: whether you trust God and fall on your knees, or you run away from God and fall on your face, God is still faithful.
Yeah, always.
Always. You know. I was just reminded of one of my favorite stories, the story of the prodigal son that Jesus tells. And in that story, we've got someone who's broken faith with his family, like hard. I mean, it's harsh. And he has this moment of clarity and repentance. Like, he hits rock bottom and he gets a little lower and finally decides, I've got to find a way back. And the way Jesus tells the story, it's the son and the family. Well, the way Jesus tells the story, the son is still making his way back. He's still far from the house. But the father is like looking and sees him while he's still way out there and runs out to him and wraps him up in this big old hug. You know, and in the story, the father is represents God. And so this thing, even if we run away from God, there's still this heart of God that seeks us and runs out to us and wraps us up. So yeah, trust God. We are going to let God down and let each other down, but God is big enough for all of it. You know, for all that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So this Sunday we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
What's up?
No, go ahead.
Did someone say something?
No.
So we're actually talking about cattle. I'm pretty excited about it. I've been waiting to put the slide up for y'all. Isn't that majestic? Cattle are awesome, y'all. So come this Sunday, we're going to talk about how faithful God is.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about cattle.
We love your fun pictures.
Bring your cattle questions. But we got
a lot going on.
We got a lot going on. We got some pumpkins here. Yeah. They are free. If you want them, come and get them.
No, they are not.
Oh, I misunderstood.
These are our decorations.
I don't like them.
I love them. So yeah, our pumpkin patch is still here. So.
It is kicking out there.
Yeah,
Holy cow. If you're local, I hope you've been out and seen it. If you've not, come on out.
Yeah. This weekend, Saturday, we have our trunk or treat.
Yes. Thank you for sending in candy.
Yeah. We sent out that last email and we had already been getting some, and then it was like a flood of candy. So it was great.
A flood of candy. That's a happy statement.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to walk in and see the candy now. I'm not so anxious. But yeah, so Trunk or treat is this Saturday from 5 to 7. Pumpkin patch is open all day on Saturday. Pumpkin patch will be open on Sunday. Sunday we have 9:30 contemporary in person and online. Traditional at 11 o'clock in person. Youth at 5 o'clock. We're having our Halloween party this weekend.
Getting spooky.
Yeah, it's exciting. And then Bible study next Wednesday.
Yeah, ma'am.
10:30 and 6:30.
Yep, 10:30 and 6:30. And this is a great time. If you've not been participating in Bible study yet, remember, you can always drop in. I've been preparing notes this time, so week to week, if you miss a week and you want the notes, I got you. But we are transitioning from the first of the prophets, right, Hosea, to the prophet Joel. So it's a great time to jump in and be part of the study. If you are far away from us or just can't make it to campus, we can send you a link and for both sessions, morning or evening session, so that you can join in with Zoom and be part of the conversation. And man, it's been good. It's been harsh. The words of the prophets are harsh, but the love of the Lord is just overwhelming. And so we've been experiencing that. So come on out for Bible study and come out for Bible study. I don't know what I was going to say.
Come out for trunk or treat.
Come out for trunk or treat.
Church.
Hey, I got a question for you, Alicia Lambert.
Yes.
What if I did not sign up to decorate a trunk?
Well,
can I still come?
You need to call me.
Yeah.
Because we have so many slots. So if you call me, I can get you a spot in there.
Yeah.
But I need to know ahead of time. And we only do trunks for our congregation. We don't do to open to the public.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Right. So if you are part of the family, like a regular part of the family, we just do that for accountability and trust, right?
Yeah, we want to make sure.
Yeah. So I think a really good idea, if you've not already done it, would be 80s hairband as a theme. I don't know that I've ever seen that in a trunk, so I freely offer that to y'all.
Oh my goodness!
Come on out, get that done.
Tab said she can't wait to bring the girls to the patch, and so looking forward to bringing her trunk out to pass out treats. And Jillian asked, "What time will the pumpkin patch close on Sunday?" It closes at 8 o'clock. So
PM.
It'll be open from 12 to 8 on Sunday, 9 a.m. till 8 on Saturday.
Yep.
So
all right, man. All kinds of stuff happen at the church. We will see you on Sunday, online or in person. Thank you so much for joining us for tea time.
Yeah, have a great week.
Be safe out there.
We'll see you this weekend.
See you soon. Bye.